All right, well, let's check out our collections of paniculatas.
Yes.
Yeah, so what are you going to tell us about?
Well, Paniculata hydrangeas are a favorite of many gardeners because they are sun-loving hydrangeas.
And this is full sun.
Right, we're in full sun. This area is full sun. The one that we're standing in front of is the old traditional Limelight Hydrangea. So it's kind of the one that started all the fanfare, right, around Paniculata hydrangeas. Before that, people just kind of referred to them as PG hydrangeas if you've been around in the hydrangea world for a while. But this is one of the first named cultivars. You can tell it has a beautiful conical shaped bloom. So that's one of the characteristics of the majority of our paniculatas. They come in shades of at the peak of their bloom, maybe they're white to cream to chartreuse even, chartreusey green. So we're not going to get much color development on this type of hydrangea, so that's going to be kind of its call to fame. Another thing that I love about paniculatas is that they are very disease and insect resistant.
That's a plus.
And the collection that we're going to look at today have been allowed to grow on their own. So you can tell this is unkempt. These have not been pruned. They have not been irrigated. We are not fertilizing them with any kind of special anything other than what the lawn areas get around it. And so you can see this would be a Limelight's natural form, really large. This is at least 12 feet tall, I would say, left to its own devices. It has more of this chartreusey color to the bloom, that green tone, and as these florets open and the bloom matures, it's going to turn less chartreuse, more towards white, right, as the bloom matures. But definitely they start out with that bright lime green color, and that's where they get their name, Limelight. So let's go look at another one.
Let's do it.
All right, Chris. So this is my personal favorite.
Your favorite.
Yes, Paniculata hydrangea.
Why is it your favorite?
Well, it's called Phantom.
Phantom, I like the name.
And it is bred to have larger blooms, almost mop head shaped blooms, and has a little bit of a more compact form than, say, your Limelight hydrangea would, but it's still a large statured cultivar. So I have in my landscape the perfect area for large, full sun loving hydrangea, and this fits the bill. I really love the flower development on it. It responds well to pruning, which I do. I do want it to be big, but I prune off about the top third of it every year at about a 5.5 foot height, and I want to show you the difference that it makes in blooms.
Let's see the difference.
I brought a bloom with me.
How about that?
So this is the size of a flower bloom, and they can be even bigger than this. I've had them larger than my head sometimes, which looks kind of funny. But when we prune, what we end up doing is we have less total blooms overall, but each individual bloom gets much larger.
I got you.
And through strategic pruning year after year, you're able to build up the capacity of those limbs that are holding these new blooms so that they don't droop and hang over.
I got you.
Right?
I got you.
So this one, you know, when it rains, these blooms aren't hanging over and breaking and falling off. It has a really nice, sturdy wood to it. So Phantom, one of my very most favorite Paniculata large type hydrangeas.
I can see why that is huge.
Yeah.
A lot of bug activity too as well.
Oh yeah. So we're actually going to see more of that here in a minute. Let's move on to another one.
Let's do it.
All right. Chris, this Paniculata is called Vanilla Strawberry. You couldn't tell it right now because it looks pretty creamy white, doesn't it?
It does.
But it's marketed so that as this bloom begins to mature, it's marketed as taking on tones of pinks to reds. Okay. But in our climate here in the southeast, we have high nighttime temperatures. Lots of times we don't get that color development that you're going to see on those tags, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're buying a Paniculata hydrangea that looks like it has a lot of pink color, you may not actually get that to come through in your home garden in this area.
So it's temperature dependent.
Temperature dependent, I would just say, you know, we've got high humidity. Yes, they love to be in full sun, but they really like those differences in daytime and nighttime temperature to get the best color development.
All right, sounds good. Good.
All right, right here, I hope you can tell as we've gone through the planting area, they've been getting progressively smaller, haven't they?
Yeah.
So this cultivar is called Silver Dollar.
Okay.
And again, we're maxing out at about 5 or 6 feet tall. So depending on how much space you have in your landscape, this may still be considered large for you.
Yes.
Silver Dollar has been on the market for a while, and since then we've had even more progress in breeding and developing more compact cultivars.
Okay.
So Little Hottie is one
I like that name.
that's brand new. It's
Little
been around.
Hottie?
Yeah, it's been around a couple years. It's cute. I'm talking like 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet in mature height, right?
Does it produce a lot of blooms?
It does.
Okay.
Yes. Super floriferous. That's our fun
Look at
flower
the
word for
Look
the
at
day.
the word. Yeah.
Pufferfish is another one
like
that
that one,
has a
pufferfish.
really nice compact habit. The bloom is a little more lacy, a little more frilly,
frilly.
than our Little Hottie is, but definitely so many options in the world of Paniculata for size, flower shape, and just overall structure of the plant. So lots and lots of options. I want to show you one more.
Let's see one more.
Okay, so we're looking at Quickfire Hydrangea. This is the last one I want to share today. You're probably going to notice that the flower structure is a little different.
It is.
And we have some color development on here, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
This is called Quickfire because it's the earliest Paniculata hydrangea to bloom.
Okay.
It's about 3 weeks earlier than all of the rest of these white, creamy, full cone-shaped flower
pretty early,
structures that
3
we've
weeks.
had. Yes.
Okay.
So that's where it got its name, Quickfire.
Okay.
Also, you're going to notice that it's kind of see-through, isn't it? It looks a little more
yeah.
lacy.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
as solid, filled out with those florets as the others are.
Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about why that is. So can you see these small flowers in the center here?
Barely, but I do see them.
These are actually the actual flowers. This whole area is a bloom structure, right? But these are the actual fertile flowers. So
wow. Okay.
this particular type of bloom structure is more beneficial to insects and pollinators in a
Got it.
landscape. So
Okay.
if that is one of your priorities in your home landscape to provide for wildlife through stewardship actions, this would be a great addition to add because we're going to have a lot of insect activity
Which
associated
I actually
with
saw
these.
here. Yeah,
Yes.
look at that.
Definitely, you can see them all
Yeah,
over
you
those
look at
fertile
that.
flowers. Now, do you see any insects on the florets, the showy florets on the outside? No,
Not
we
really.
don't,
Not really.
because there's no pollen there. There's no nectar
Got it.
source. So these showier areas are kind of bringing those insects in, right, and then
Okay.
and showing them where to find those fertile flowers in the
deal.
center. So lots of fun things going on with this. Of course, you can see this is another large statured
pretty good size.
Paniculata,
Yeah.
but they have done some breeding on this as well. So we've got Little Quickfire,
Little Quickfire.
Quickfire Fab. So these are all smaller versions of this same type of Paniculata hydrangea.
All right, so let's just do a quick recap, right, of everything that we learned about paniculatas, right?
Okay. Sun loving.
Sun loving.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got cultivars that will fit in very large spaces.
Okay.
Also have many cultivars available for compact growth spaces.
Got it.
They bloom in summer.
All right, say it one more
Okay?
time.
They bloom in
summer. Got it. Okay.
So after the majority of the rest of the hydrangeas have passed their peak, that's when paniculatas are going to pick up for their bloom.
Good.
They bloom on new wood.
Yes.
So we don't have to be as concerned with pruning time of year.
Okay.
But best management practices say we need to prune during the dormant season.
Okay.
So target late winter, very early spring,
Got it.
before new growth begins
Okay.
on that old wood. Also, I'd say we don't get a lot of fall foliage color through paniculatas as you would with oak leaf hydrangeas.
Okay.
But their blooms are really beautiful if we leave them throughout the fall and winter. They're going to essentially dry to like a papery kind of texture
Yeah, I've
on the
seen that.
plant
Right.
and can lend lots and lots of visual interest to a landscape.
So there's some winter interest there.
Right, through
Okay.
those months where we don't have a lot else going for
Got it.
us in the landscape. So leave those blooms on there. Don't feel like you have to come in and clean things up in the fall
Okay.
and make things look prim and proper. So
Okay.
a great plant to add to a full
great
sun
plant.
landscape.
Thank you, Celeste. This was fun.
It was fun.
Very educational.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
that.
coming.
Thank you.